Here's a walkthrough of what each control does in the settings page of Evolution Electric Bass RIC. So first of all, we have a pickup blend setting that you can slide around, and that basically adjusts the blend between the bridge pickup and the neck pickup. We also have a pickup stereo spread, which allows you to pan the bridge and neck pickups apart from each other. You can also send the neck and bridge pickup output to different audio outputs. We've got a vintage bridge option that will allow you to mimic the vintage bridge setting. There's also a master output volume, and that's for if you have a tone preset that's a little bit on the loud side and you need to bring it down to prevent it from clipping. You can do that there. There's also a string mode control, which allows you to select between monophonic and polyphonic play modes. You can also set the tuning of the bass from standard tuning to drop D, drop C, and drop B. Here you can adjust the fretting position, and you can also set the legato range, and so that basically means how far you can legato, where it'll play a legato articulation instead of just re-plucking that same note. You can also set the vibrato amount, and this is probably best automated to the mod wheel for that traditional mapping. You can also disable and enable morphing dynamics, and that means that it doesn't use traditional velocity layers, but actually morphs between each dynamic sample. Here you can adjust the transition time, and what that adjusts is if you're repeating a note, there's a pre-roll sample or transition sample used. And this, the transition samples add a lot of realism, but they also delay the sample by a few milliseconds. So if you want to adjust how much it delays it, how much of that transition sample is used, you can do that using the transition time control. There's also a release volume setting, which allows you to adjust the volume of the release samples. Release delay basically means that when you release the note, it will leave the note sustaining for that many number of milliseconds, and that way it helps you smooth out gaps in keyboard playing. So it'll help you play smoother legato lines. There's also a MIDI guitar mode that you can disable or enable. Velocity bias will bias the velocity input either towards the loud dynamic or towards the soft dynamic. And that way you can adjust the velocity response to your MIDI controller. You can also transpose the entire instrument up or down several octaves. And that way you can make it conform with, say, a general MIDI file or other MIDI standard that would place the electric bass in a different octave.